Today is about question one of the biggest days ever for Call of Duty news, and as you've seen from the title, Call of Duty Black Ops 5 is confirmed for next year's game. That's right, Black Ops 4 only launched 7 months ago, and next year we're getting Black Ops 5. If that excites you, I would love to hear your thoughts on it down below in the comment section and by leaving a like rating if you like the idea of this. Now, this has all come from Kotaku, who's reported that the current in-development Call of Duty game coming out next year by Sledgehammer games is an absolute mess. Something we've never heard before in a Call of Duty's development ever, that a game is in such a mess that Treyarch is taking over its development to bring Call of Duty Black Ops 5 as the 2020 Call of Duty game. That means whatever game Sledgehammer Games have been working on since they released World War II has been put on hold so Treyarch can release a new Call of Duty game next year instead, which is Black Ops 5. Kotaku report that Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software will serve as support studios to work with Treyarch on bringing out the 2020 Call of Duty game Black Ops 5. In fact, Raven Software was actually the lead development studio for the 2020 Call of Duty game, with Sledgehammer Games supporting them. Sledgehammer and Raven have been working on a single-player campaign for their 2020 game set in the Cold War era, and that is supposed to be the campaign for the new Black Ops game. So Black Ops 5 confirmed to have a campaign which is going to be set in the Cold War, an era which is very exciting for Call of Duty fans like myself, something that we've been wanting for a very long time, but it's not actually a campaign that Treyarch have directly created themselves. This is about question one of the most ridiculously crazy things we've ever heard for Call of Duty development, because never have we heard such a chaotic development process happening behind the scenes that we would never have known about until it was broken by Kotaku. To put this into perspective, Call of Duty is one of the most lucrative video game series on the entire planet, and every holiday season for the last 15 years, Activision has put out a new Call of Duty game, supported by a stable of different developers who rotated duties as required. Since 2012, Activision has followed a 3-year cycle for its 3 lead studios: Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer. That's a pattern we've seen now with Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War II, Black Ops 4, and a supposed Modern Warfare 4. It's so hard to believe this, but apparently there was tension between Sledgehammer and Raven Software during the development of the 2020 title. The game was apparently a mess, and Activision has decided to step in and put Treyarch in charge of a new Black Ops project for the year 2020. It's the first time Treyarch will be making a COD game in a 2-year development cycle since they released Black Ops 2 back in 2012. Black Ops 3 and 4 have both been on a 3-year development cycle, so I cannot even comprehend how developers at Treyarch feel right now with the pressure they have right now to keep putting content into Black Ops 4, and we don't even need to talk about how much of a mess that is in terms of content coming in the game. But on top of trying to keep up with putting content in that game, they have to quickly develop a brand new game which is coming out next year. It's absolutely insane, and I think it's fair to say most people that are fans of Call of Duty have noticed that Sledgehammer has had a bit of a rocky time within the last year, with the co-founders Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield leaving the company in 2018. And as soon as they left, World War II became a completely different game, and lots of people really enjoyed the change and shift that happened with that. And that's all due to the change in leadership, with the new leadership under Aaron Hallen. Jumping on back about Black Ops 5, this is absolutely crazy news. Obviously, this is fantastic news that we're going to have a single player story mode in a campaign for Black Ops 5, because we didn't get one in Black Ops 4, and it will be set during the Cold War. It's also likely that this game is going to be a cross-gen game, which is going to coincide with the launch of the next PlayStation and Xbox, which are also expected in the fall of the year 2020. And again, rather than having 3 years to come up with making a Call of Duty game and have it finished, they're going to have just 2. And from Kotaku sources, some of the company were not pleased about that and already bracing for brutal overtime hours like they faced last year on Black Ops 4. Others have said they're excited about the change as they have a solid game plan that isn't likely to change drastically, unlike their last 2 projects. That's all going back to the rumours before Black Ops 4 was revealed about the game being entirely different, like an overhaul people watch shooter where you could have specific score streaks and kill streaks tied to those characters. And yeah, it just sounded a bit crazy and didn't really work out according to what leaks said back in those days. But another thing I really want to talk about, since we've had this news just spring out of nowhere and we have had some rumors about a Zombie Chronicles 2, a second season of DLC for Black Ops 4, if that was planned and if that was happening, I don't know if it's going to happen anymore, because why would they release that when that's zombie content that they could save for Black Ops 5? We could still potentially see it in Black Ops 4 DLC, perhaps in the lead up to the excitement of Black Ops 5, but it just seems so strange that they would release all this nostalgic throwback content if they're already trying to quickly bring together something for Black Ops 5 next year. It's just absolutely bonkers news, but there is a good side to this, okay? The fact that Treyarch are having to rush to make a Call of Duty, which is another Black Ops game, which I'm very happy with for next year, may sound like pretty bad news that they're being rushed for it, but we also need to remember that apparently Sledgehammer Games and Raven Software will serve as support studios to work with Treyarch on bringing out this game. So Sledgehammer Games are not creating their own Call of Duty game for next year anymore. That is put on hold. If we will actually ever see that game is incredibly unlikely, because wherever it was, it's set in Cold War, is now going to be put into Treyarch's game. So we have the portion of the campaign which has normally been extremely good from Sledgehammer, but of course Treyarch are now on board with it, and Raven. But Raven, Sledgehammer and Treyarch are both going to create a multiplayer, zombies and potentially battle royale experience. Triple studio support on this game, I think, is what we need in this day and age with a Call of Duty game. You can see from how Treyarch struggled to support the game with enough content that keeps people coming back as much as other games like Fortnite and other battle royale games like that. If we will see Battle Royale in this game is another question entirely. It just seems like a real shame, because Treyarch spent 3 long years developing Black Ops 4 to be the biggest Call of Duty offering that we have ever seen, and unfortunately, it's just not really hit the marks that was set for it. But with triple studio support, the campaign is already set in stone, it's there, excitement is already building just because of the era that this is set in. We have a very exciting 2 years ahead with Call of Duty content. The fact that Activision have also commented that they are moving into the free-to-play model when it comes to this year's Call of Duty game in some aspect, but they haven't quite yet finalized on what that is going to be. We are already seeing it with Call of Duty Mobile, which, if you have not seen, launched softly in India the other day. I created a video showing the first multiplayer gameplay. You can check it out on my channel, but that's Activision already dipping their toes into the free-to-play market. That game is going to be super successful. If Black Ops 5 is going to be free-to-play, I don't know, but it seems like Call of Duty is getting to that point now where this 3-year development cycle just doesn't seem to be working out. What they need is a foundational Call of Duty game which they release and can update it year after year after year. I don't know about your guys' opinions, but me personally, I'm happy with Black Ops 4 being the current game if all 3 studios could support it and pump it with content regularly. Unfortunately, that's not a reality we're going to have, but Black Ops 5 is a game which potentially will have that. We have 3 studios working on the game constantly. We had a PC team working constantly on this year's Black Ops 4 game, and whilst they're supporting it, it's still not quite the support I think people expected. They just really need to hammer down now to make sure that this game that's coming out this year, this Modern Warfare game, and next year's Black Ops game is absolutely top tier. And I mean, Treyarch and other studios have had 2 years before to work on these games, so it's not like it's exactly a big rush. It's just not an ideal scenario. And the fact that Black Ops 5 as well is going to be the first Call of Duty we're going to see on the next gen consoles, the Xbox 2 and the PlayStation 5, that's extremely exciting, because last time we had that, it was Call of Duty Ghosts that had that next gen treatment. And yeah, but Treyarch are super super busy by the sounds of it. DLC 3 and 4, we have no idea when that is coming out, if we're even going to be seeing it anytime soon, but they got to deliver on that content. And then they're already working ahead on zombies for Black Ops 5. What do you guys think they could do to change it up? What would you like to see in Black Ops 5? Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure as this news is breaking, Treyarch and Activision are probably shook right now that this has become so publicly known so quickly. But if you guys are excited for Call of Duty in the next 2 years, let me know in the comment section, drop a thumbs up, and as soon as we know more information, I'll be sure to let you know by posting videos. So be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. But thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.